contract, and you'll still have insurance, and you'll get all that. It sounds to me like saying, well, you can sit there, you just can't sit there.
We just have a disagreement, and I, along with many, many others, wish you every happiness.
Thank you. So you'll walk me down the aisle? Is that what you're saying?
Pat Buchanan, has this become an issue in 2008?
Yeah, I think it will because of the California Supreme Court decision, which was a foolish decision, frankly, from the standpoint of the Democrats. The Massachusetts Supreme Court decision in 2003, 2004 put the thing on the ballot in 13 states, and homosexual marriage lost by 58% to 85% in Mississippi in all 13, and it killed Kerry. It won't be as big, but it's an issue. Barack Obama will say marriage should be between a man and a woman. He will run away from it.
Jesse, you're shaking your head.
Well, first of all, I made a statement when I was governor, and I stand by it today. Love is bigger than government. Who the hell are we as a government to tell people who you can fall in love with? I think it's absurd, the fact that it's even being debated. We can solve the problem simply. Government only acknowledges civil unions. Then you don't have to put your sex down. Let the churches acknowledge marriage. They're the private sector. If they don't want to acknowledge it, they have every right to do so. How on earth can we even entertain the fact that government should have the ability to tell you as an individual who you can fall in love with? Ridiculous.
Jonathan, real quick, is this going to be an issue?
Let me disagree with Jesse.
Well, let me just get Jonathan, because I want to move on. I mean,
I think
this is not going to be
it's not going to be like 2004, because it's not going to be on the ballot in nearly as many states, and in California, where obviously it's going to get very hot.
And because there's an economy to worry about.
There's a lot of other more important things. But I did think it was interesting that, John McCain looked there like he'd taken a trip to Ellen the orthodontist. I mean, he was very, very uncomfortable, even though his position is the same as Obama and Clinton's, but they are just more fluent in discussing it in ways that sort of bridge the gaps on this.
Pat, final thought.
Well, final call. Marriage is a cinder block of society. Historically, it's between a man and a woman. It ought to be set aside for a man and a woman. If government wants to set up civil unions and benefits for people like that, it ought to be done by elected legislators, not by unanointed judges who are behaving more and more like tyrants in this country, imposing their values on us.
Let me throw something out. You can't take a civil rights issue and put it up to a vote. If you did that, we might still have slavery if it was allowed to be voted on.
Fair point.
Jesse,
You can't take civil rights and let people vote on it.
Well, Jesse, what are you talking about? The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was voted on. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was voted on by Congress. The Open Housing Act of 1968 was done by LBJ. Pursuant to demonstrations by Martin Luther King. These were done by the representatives of the people, not by these unelected judges.
Well, and not by the populace itself, Pat. Fine, if the elected officials will stand up for what's right and do what's right with civil rights like they did back then, I fully agree with you. But you can't put a civil rights issue on the general ballot in a state and let people vote on it, because if you do that in the southern states before, you can bet they would have voted to continue slavery.
John McCain has bigger problems than Ellen DeGeneres. Today, this